are in Orkney, Scotland. The landscape here hasn't really changed much for hundreds or perhaps thousands of years. What has changed is the crops grown by the farmers here. For centuries, the farmers grew beer barley, an ancient grain and the crop of choice, especially for farmers on the islands in northern Scotland. It has a distinct flavour, but also nutritional benefits, such as high fibre and high micronutrients, but low gluten. In addition to being a healthy food, it is also used for malting, to make beer and whiskey, and to use in vinegars and as ingredients in other products. But despite its many uses, the amount of land used to grow beer barley here in Orkney has sharply decreased in the last century.
The grain yield is quite low. It's a long-strawed variety, which makes it not so easy for people to grow, and there's also a risk that close to harvest the crop can fall over, which is called lodging.
That is why 20 years ago, Scotland's Agronomy Institute at Orkney College was established to help farmers grow beer barley again and to find more and higher value uses for these underutilised crops and, in turn, to improve farmers' incomes.
But it's really important that we do protect it because it has such special qualities. It has qualities of environmental protection, health qualities, but also flavour and quality.
Because of this, the Agronomy Institute has helped improve farmers' income by finding more uses for beer barley and developing new markets for it.
Over the years, we've had a number of collaborations with breweries, distilleries and malting companies, and we've sort of built up a demand for beer to be used by breweries for beer, and also by distilleries for distilling into whiskey, into unique whiskies.
In addition to increasing yields of beer barley, the researchers at the Institute are also focusing on ensuring its sustainability.
My focus is particularly on what traits we can get from beer barley which help with sustainability, so coping with reduced nutrient inputs into soils, but also climate change issues and carbon sequestration in soils, for example. So the implications of the research that we're doing on beer are not just limited to Orkney, but way beyond. Anywhere that has drought stress or salt stress could be impacted by the work we're doing here.
The Institute has included farmers in a participatory breeding approach in growing beer barley.
We supply farmers with seed from the bear population and look at how their environment impacts the selection of bear and the traits and the genes that are selected doing that kind of process.
This relationship between the researchers and the farmers is a major aspect of the success of the work of the Agronomy Institute.
We handle the growing of the crop right through from sourcing the fields, like renting the land, doing the soil analysis, getting the soil right, planting the crop, and then harvesting the crop and drying the crop and storing the crop, and then putting it to the mill in the 50-kilogram bags. Back at least 3 generations to my grandfather, who grew the crop, and then my father, and then we're growing it. So hopefully there'll be a 4th generation growing it. I remember going over to the mill as a kid. It's nice to be involved and keeping that heritage crop going and looking after the seed that you always are producing the seed then for the next crop.
In a global picture, saving, sharing and taking care of seeds and other plant material for food and agriculture is also a major objective of the International Plant Treaty of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Because it is imperative to broaden the diversity of crops that feed the world, particularly as the world faces climate change, the International Plant Treaty, along with other institutions, is partnering with the European Union's Horizon 2020 project to revitalise underutilised crops, such as beer barley.
They get money for their crop, but I think there's a certain amount of pride that goes along with growing it.
I think a lot of farmers were prepared to give beer a try, simply from the point of view of trying to keep an old crop alive on farms.
Thanks in large part to the efforts of the Agronomy Institute, the European Union's Horizon 2020 project and local farmers, this ancient crop, the Orkney beer barley, which almost died out, is now making a comeback.